Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to our first Arts Authority meeting of 2025. And if we could have the roll call, please.
Member Seals,
Present.
Member Rogel Miller,
That was you.
Present.
Member Massey, Member Jenkins has requested an excuse. Member Haley, Member Clementi has requested an excuse. Vice Chair Grady Muhammad,
Present.
and Chair Mizraca has requested an excuse. We have a quorum present.
Thank you. For the benefit of those who are viewing our meeting as well, if we could have everyone who is seated around the table and those who have a role here, please introduce yourselves as well.
Lolita Haley. Lolita Haley.
Ian Rapnicki, DIA, Public Affairs.
Good morning. My name is Todd Russell Perkins. I'm an attorney for the board, along with one of my law partners, who is first chair.
My name is Ken Wilson. I'm at Perkins Law Group, and I'm here as counsel to the board.
Anthony Smith, Vice President, Learning and Audience Engagement, the Detroit Institute of Arts.
Hi, I'm Julie McFarland. I'm with the DIA. I'm Executive Director of Public Affairs and Community Engagement.
Thank you. Heidi?
Good morning. My name is Heidi Slattery, and I'm here to take your notes.
Thank you. I like to do that because, you know, people will tune in and will not know all of the folks who are available and participating. We did do our roll call of our members, but if I could have the members introduce themselves as well.
Renata Seals.
Hubert Massey.
I'm Barbara Miller.
And I'm your Vice Chair, Stephen Grady Muhammad. Appreciate you all coming today to take care of things. If we could go on with item B on our agenda. Who, what? She did.
Mr. Chair, I would like to add to the agenda a discussion and resolution regarding the parking reimbursement for board members, and also add to the agenda the issue of extending an outreach to Wayne County librarians.
Okay.
There is
You'd like to add those to unfinished business?
Yes, that would be appropriate. Thank you.
All right. Could I have a second for that?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Discussion.
I don't think we needed any discussion that time. Okay, thank you. So those two items will be added to unfinished business, which is item E. I'd also like to go to item number C, the approval of the December 16th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Excuse me, Vice Chair, we approved to add them. Now we need to approve the agenda as a whole with those items.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like a motion to approve the agenda as amended. I do have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All right, thank you. Now we can go on to item number C, which is the approval of our previous meeting minutes for December 16th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So approved.
It's been motioned. Any second?
I'll second.
Second has been made. Any discussion? All right. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. We'll go on to item D, report from the chair. I did have a conversation with our chair, Biddy Mizuraka, and she did wish everyone a great new year and much support and love to the Arts Authority. I do understand that we have a new appointment that was made and will be effective on March 13th, and that's Mr. Byron Osborne, who is with the IBEW electricians local. I thought he was going to be here today so we could say hello, but our next meeting we'll be able to welcome him officially to our body. I do also want to offer a moment of silence for an icon of Detroit, Mr. Luther Keith. Luther was a journalist. He was a lot of things, actually. And if I start listing everything that he was, I know that I'll miss something. He was a personal friend. I was at his last concert at Baker's Keyboard. He will definitely be missed. And before I offer the moment of silence, if any one of my colleagues would like to offer any comments about Mr. Keith, I'd like to open the floor for that.
I'd like to make a comment. We have Renata and I have the Jazz on the Avenue every year, and he always manages to get over there. And she and I always say, how are you at every neighborhood event, but you also manage to make us feel special to do this? I mean, he goes to events, whether it's 20 people, 100 people. Many of us have no idea. We have some idea of the people that invest in terms of sponsorships or who actually do things. But in terms of giving the small things like the bags or having a banner if you have an event, or to actually remind you of how it was as a young person when you saw your neighbor cleaning and cutting their grass, you went outside, your parents went outside and cut their grass. Or they say, get on up, and people across the street are cutting their grass, you're gonna cut yours. He actually reminded that for us of many years throughout the city. And that is a big deal when they talk about cleaning the curbs or just being a part of a community. Some of us would do more if we had more. Some of us would do more if somebody just said something. Maybe I'm not gonna cut the grass because I didn't have any more bags. But it's a really big deal when you think about city-wide, Arise Detroit mean to just clean up and do better. And I just want to say that we appreciate him. And I was just sharing with our chair, he always wanted to be a rock star too, always. And our oldest jazz club, Baker's Keyboard, he has helped us begin to renew and revise a lot of people coming back to do that. And those are some big shoes. And I hope somebody is trying to audition to keep it going. But Renata and I are going to continue because we're proud that on our Jazz on the Avenue, that's the day we're part of that. So it's an interesting legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Haley. Any other comments? Okay. Mr. Keith also started Arise Detroit. I'm sure you all have heard of that and heard of Neighborhoods Day. And that was a beautiful, beautiful opportunity where he highlighted several neighborhoods throughout the city. And Luther will definitely be missed. If I could offer a moment of silence for him at this time. Thank you. Final thing I'd like to offer as a report from the chair, I'd like to thank Julie and the DIA with your invitation to the board meeting that we had recently. And I did reach out to our counsel, Mr. Perkins, Attorney Perkins, just to ensure that our attendance would not be any type of conflict of interest, as you all are discussing business and we discuss business on our end as well. Mr. Perkins or tell me, Mr. Wilson, yes, can you provide us with the result of that opinion?
We don't see any kind of conflict of interest or violation. Oh, I'm sorry. But we don't see any kind of violation of an Open Meetings Act. With that, we don't see a violation of any kind of conflict of interest. I mean, we would be really just attending in a passive capacity, as I understand it. Or it, you know, I don't, as I understand it, there would not be items on the agenda that this board would have to address and make a decision on that day. So we do not see an Open Meetings Act violation or a conflict of interest.
Okay, thank you.
May I clarify something?
Yes.
Just to clarify, so we extend that invitation. It is an invitation to join us as a guest. This body does have representation on the DIA board through their board appointees. And the DIA as a private nonprofit is not subject to Open Meetings Act. So this is an invitation. And, you know, we're happy to have anyone who's interested in coming. And we do an enrichment, as, you know, Member Massey and Member Seals know. There's a lot that goes on in that meeting that helps people understand just a little bit more about what's happening at the museum. So we're happy to extend that invitation just as our commitment to transparency.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. No, again, we don't see a conflict, even though again, we're there as a guest, as you pointed out, in a what I might refer to as a passive capacity. For better or worse, we are subject to the Opens Meeting Act, but there would be no violation if we showed up in that capacity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure that we were good with that invitation. Thank you. So let's move on to our unfinished business. The first item that we have is the discussion of the 2023 Plant Moran Agreed Upon Procedures Report Audit that occurs through the DIA. And we had discussed this at our last meeting, and I think actually at the last couple of meetings. And Director McFarland, you gave us a summary of the audit content. Could you just go over that briefly again, what that audit is about? And
Yes, happy to do that. So as part of our agreement for services, we submit to an audit once a year. This is the same audit procedures that we do for all 3 counties. That happens once a year. And it is basically to test our compliance with the service agreement as far as number of school children, number of senior groups, and then our, spending to meet those goals. So the 2023 audit was completed about a year ago last year, and that was submitted to the authority, and I'm happy to answer any questions. It was, I don't know if this is a technical term, an unremarkable audit. We were able to meet our goals for seniors and for senior participation and K through 12 student participation. And of course, there is spending that goes along with meeting those goals. So right now we are just finishing up the 2024 service agreement review, and we will be providing that prior to the next meeting and open for any questions at that time as well.
okay, great. Thank you. I'd like to open the floor to other members of the authority. If there are any comments, discussion, or questions about the 2023 Plant Moran audit. All righty then. We can move on to our next item that was added to the unfinished business, and that is an update on our parking situation. And I see a few folks smiling. And I know that's been a situation that we've been trying to work through to get reimbursement for the different parking that occurs. I think I'm going to go over to Heidi potentially. Heidi's looking at me like, no, Stephen, don't come to me. I'm going to go to our clerk, Ms. Hunter.
I was in contact with the treasurer's office last week, and they're still working on how to get you guys in the system and get you reimbursed. So I am following up with them. We don't
Yes, ma'am.
have it quite resolved yet, but as soon as I do, I'll send you guys an email.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question. How does commission handle reimbursements? Would it be a situation where we could provide our documentation through the treasurer to you, and then you could get that to commission's accountants, or?
I can speak with Commission Counsel
Yes.
and Director of Administration, but I'm not sure how
Okay.
that goes.
Okay. So we'll bring that item back. And-
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
if I may.
Mhm.
Right.
I just pull in and it's all done on it's done on my cell phone and there's no documentation. When you ask me to provide documentation, I have none to provide. And I don't know how many people would be reimbursed. I would be one. Mr. Massey, you would be one. Octavia, no. How many of us would be reimbursed? 3? And I don't know about Betty.
So question, you're not able to get a receipt from them?
They don't issue one.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I've just been advised that I can do a screenshot from my cell phone.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion about the parking issue? All righty, then we'll move on to our next item under unfinished business, and that was a comment from member Rugal Miller in our last meeting about an outreach to librarians and how can we engage librarians. Member, can you
Yes.
share that?
I'm also among my multiple jobs in my life. I'm also a librarian. And librarians are the heart of a community. There's a lot of activity and a lot of in and out and a lot of groups. And it just seems to me that since our outreach to superintendents was so successful and engaging for them and enlightening for them, that librarians would be a good group to invite and cultivate, because they are the heart of most communities.
Mhm.
So my recommendation is that the DIA do an outreach to Wayne County librarians and the librarians in Oakland and Macomb. Another project for you.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. And, Ian is involved in this work too, and we do know that librarians are wonderful connectors for us to residents in all 3 counties. We work with librarians a lot. A lot of the librarians bring seniors for the senior group program, and they also host a lot of the behind the scene art talks at their locations. But I think what you're talking about is like a more targeted approach.
Yes.
Because I think there are the ones that we're very engaged with, and then there's probably others that, may not be aware of everything. I had a nice conversation with Commissioner Clemente the other day, and she had engaged a librarian in Melvindale. and pass that along. So we're happy to do that. You know, I'd love to, you know, meet with you to just talk about like what the best way to do that outreach is. And then thinking about a way to maybe invite, you know, have like and I don't know, you're an ex-librarian, so you would know better if we had like some sort of, you know, invitation to librarians to come to the museum for an hour or for coffee to kind of get a little bit closer look at things that we do at the museum. And I'd love to talk to you about whether you think that would be helpful. If I know librarians are busy, you know, I don't want to set up something that's difficult. And the other thing too is, you know, we have found librarians have been interested in passing out some of our materials. I know Ian passed this out today, this quarterly calendar, and it does have a whole page in it just on museum benefits, service agreement benefits. So we would be happy to work with you on that, Barbara, and making some of those connections.
I talked to our local librarian, Mary Jo Suchi, who's just a wonderful woman and a wonderful librarian. And she gave me, and I think I forwarded it to you, all of the emails of all librarians in
Yes.
Wayne County.
Yes.
So that's a start.
Yes, and certainly, I mean, that is part of our outreach list. So we're happy to do that and think about, you know, if there's anything more.
Maybe we can get together with Mary Jo.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Okay, I'll contact her.
Chair,
Here?
Stephen.
Yes.
Julie, I was wondering, I know librarians we're all struggling a little bit right now. And I was wondering, how is the outreach going with even the high school students? Because I know all of that's part of the arts. And some of the librarians are more active or used more often in some areas. Some of us are using them to meet up for our community groups and that. And I'm wondering, I know we have to change sometimes the narrative to get the same word out. So rather than just being exclusive with the librarian, for some of the seniors go there, some people don't have internet, but they go to the library to do whatever they have to do. And the library, some of them remain open and active. But with this high school opportunity, that's only a brief period, can we do something to get more people excited about what opportunity that you're doing? Because most of the libraries, they have a certain area, schools or what have you, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not suggesting or recommending any more work for anybody or reinventing the wheel, but some of it's already there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we're just nudging people, like maybe, you know, what y'all doing with this here? We got the kids. If you got all these schools around here, these kids are on the internet all the time. They're so much smarter than this, and this is a missed opportunity that some of the parents and the community see. Maybe the children don't see the value of what this means in terms of showing what you know how to do and the actual sense of competition that doesn't cost you nothing. Sometimes you got to compete. If you don't have so many hits on your phone, you're not there. Or if you don't have the money to be engaged. But here's an opportunity where you not only can do this, but, you know, I just see it's not always easy. And I know it's a difficult job and I'm impressed, but I know the libraries and even our community, you go in there and it's more isolated. It seemed like when we were going to libraries, you used to go in the library, they tell me be quiet. Now they looking like, come on, somebody come in here. You know, even the communities don't use it as much as we should or could because of a safe place and exposure and all the great work that you all do. I mean, I've heard somewhat about it, about the high school and the library stuff. But even me, if I don't hear it enough, it's what's the biggest headline, you know what I'm saying? And they respect and admire a lot of us around this table, but you know, it's just something to think about.
Yes, thank you. I mean, we're always looking to expand our outreach, and certainly librarians are a piece of it, but that wouldn't be the only group that we work out, that we reach out to or that we work through. We also do PR, like on the Wayne County High School show. I mean, we do get coverage in some of the smaller local papers. There's a whole host of things that we do to promote that. So we're reaching out to the librarians is just a piece of that outreach.
Yes, yes,
And, repetition helps,
yes, yes.
That's
That's why I brought it up.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Let the record reflect the presence of our member Clemente. Member Clemente, you had a comment?
Yes, thank you. Kara Clemente, Wayne County Commission, District 4. At our last meeting, I learned about a lot of things and said it would be my honor to try and work on getting our commissioners to do outreach as well as myself. And I did hear on my way here, I did meet with one of my librarians in Melvindale who really did not know about the DIA, because a lot of times cities get things and they don't reach out.
Pass them along.
So commissioners have sent out this high school flyer to all of their high schools, I was sent out to all of my high schools. I've gotten some responses back from Crystal Ray and another high school in Detroit. I can't remember the name of it right now. So it is my mission to continue to reach out to all of my libraries. I do represent part of Detroit and 4 cities, being Ecorse, River Rouge, Melvindale, and Lincoln Park. And I am doing my part and also encouraging all of the commissioners to do their part in getting out the word, because it's a gem and we need to respect and go there and get our families involved and our young people. So I have been very busy doing that. And I think tomorrow night, Lincoln Park has the DIA coming in to do something at their library, and I'll report back how that went. But I also have attended the music at the with the Ecorse seniors, and they had quite a large group there and quite a large group at the museum, which I was very happy to see that people are using that. So we just need to keep encouraging and getting people involved. So that was my comment. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
need to post this, everybody, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. A nice flyer.
Absolute. Any other comments about outreach to librarians? All right, let's move on to new business, which the item that we have on new business is discussion about the 4th annual Wayne County High School art exhibit. I'd like to open the floor to DIA.
Sure. So this is our 4th year having this art exhibition in the Learning Center at the DIA. And I know there are a lot of people around this table that were part of getting this new-ish program stood up at the museum. So I've shared with everyone, I think of 3 weeks ago, and then I sent another reminder out in preparation for this meeting, just with the materials, so that we can all, use our networks to push that message out. So the call for submission is open till the end of this month, which is coming up fast, March 23rd. And then we will be, we're working on identifying a date for an opening event. We're working on vetting one date right now, and hopefully in the next couple days, we'll have that firmed up so that it can go on everyone's calendar. Our opening event is really just a celebration of the opening of the exhibition for the year. So we invite students who are participating, their teachers, if the teachers are engaged, and parents to come and, celebrate that and then go down and see the exhibition. So like I said, we're, posting this everywhere that we can. The interesting part about most of these shows is people wait till about the last week, so it will be busy in the last week. But we're planting the seeds everywhere we can think of, and appreciate any help that this group, wants to provide in getting that message out.
Great, excellent. And I know that this is a big opportunity. You have like 70 works that you're going to display in the exhibit. And that just gives our youth an opportunity. I mean, it's the greatest idea to think somebody one day has their art, exhibited by the DIA as a kid. That's just phenomenal. And I know the idea for this actually came from our corresponding secretary, member Seals. Member Seals, when you thought about this and came with this suggestion, what were you trying to accomplish? Why did you suggest this?
One of the most important things to me is, of course, our seniors and our children in Wayne County. And although there was already an art program for high schoolers in Detroit, I believe, I thought it was important that Wayne County itself got an opportunity to show talent, because so many times just your art teacher just may not show interest, right? Or in programs. So this was an opportunity for people to see what's going on inside of the DIA and come through Wayne County to get it done. I've worked with Betty Mizuraka and Barb Miller about artworks in the airport.
Mhm.
And one of the things that we wanted to do was to see if we could get the children's art put in the airport. Still working on that. When I travel all across the country, I see art exhibits from children in almost every major airport. And I'm just waiting to see that too. But I thought that this would be the beginning of something great, maybe at the airport, so that they can see that our children here in Wayne County are very talented.
Yes.
Another reason that I did it is because I was subbing in DPS for the last couple of years. And of course, a lot of the children, instead of doing their work, they would sit there and draw. And the talent that was in that classroom during English class, the artwork was amazing, right? So I thought that this would, if it happens in this classroom, it's happening in the next classroom. And I just thought that it would be a great opportunity for the children to get some work displayed. And like you said, to say that I had artwork in the DIA at 13, 14, 15 years old, to me was just a grand opportunity. And again, I would like to thank you guys for supporting the idea and going forth with that. This is the fourth year, and every year is just more and more amazing. So I'm interested to see how many entries are this year, keeping track of that if you guys could, where it came from, and who was chosen. And by the way, how do you make the selection of what art is chosen to go on display?
So this is a jury chose. So there's a panel of people who get together and look through everything and select those 70 pieces, or 70 or so pieces.
So for that, the ones who make that selection, how are they chosen? Maybe that's my question.
Yeah, for our student exhibitions, we typically use staff who work with our K through 12 population. So that's typically how those are selected, just from staff members who have experience with our K through 12 students, someone in our studio, someone in our education department. We pull that group together.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Through the chair,
Yes, ma'am.
Julie, how do they submit their work? How does a student submit their work?
So there's a link to a
saw
call.
that.
So typically for art shows like this, it's an electronic submission. So that's what the jury looks at. They look at these, we drop it down to a slideshow, and that's how they get reviewed. And then
We
what's
don't need to bring the work down. It's done electronic.
Yes.
I'll tell the principal so that they're not intimidated.
yes.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you asking that question, because a lot of times as we're discussing things around the table, we have documents in front of us and things of that nature. But other folks who may be watching this, they may not know how to affect what they may want to affect. So thank you for asking that question. Thank you for answering. And yes, ma'am.
It is phenomenal, and I hope that we will see some art here again in our hallways, because I think somehow it came to the garden building after the fact. And when some of the commissioners walked through the door and saw it, and I know I was like, oh, this is so nice. Our blank walls have art on them, and they're from our students in our area. So that was a really nice touch also. And I think the airport would be a wonderful idea.
So to that point, member, maybe when that art hits the Guardian building, the commission can sponsor some type of welcome of the art to the Guardian building and just let folks know that it's here so they can come down and take a look at it.
I'm sure we could share something on our social medias or on our, commission page.
Sure.
That's easily done.
Great. Okay. Thank you. All right. Any other comments, questions, observations about the 4th annual Wayne County High School Art Exhibition? We're really excited about that. It's such a great opportunity for our youth, and the hope is that one day future artists will be, uncovered. And to our resident artist on the authority here, I saw Mr. Massey down there. Well, how important is this art exhibit to our youth, to you, an artist? Yeah, can you hear me?
No.
Is he green? Okay. There you go. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it's extremely important. I mean, I remember going to, because I'm originally from Flint, but I had a piece of my artwork show at the Flint Institute of Arts when I was in my early teens and all, and it has a big impact. So I think it's just a great opportunity for the kids, and just to be able to see their artwork in a different environment, and people coming to see it and observe it, and also I think it's very awesome.
Wow. Thank you for that comment, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
What a great story. We've got a man here that went through a very similar situation like that. So now, Julie, you and your team are charged with finding the next Hubert Massey in the art exhibit process. Thank you all so much for that. Okay, that's going to end, I believe, our new business. I'd like to go on to item G, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the board. Anything that we need to cover?
If I may.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Earlier in our works, in one of our meetings, we requested a mid-year review for programs because we do have this situation with the renewal of the millage and things like that. And I was just wondering, for our June, is it
June
23rd?
23rd, yes.
23rd. For our June 23rd meeting, will we have a mid-year, somewhat of a mid-year review ready so that we can evaluate what's going on and see where we are on things?
Sure.
So I'm looking for the meeting schedule. So well, I may have an old schedule. I had May 19th being the next meeting, and typically the May meeting is the review of the prior year. So the service agreement review by Plant Moran would be done by then. August 4th is what I have slated for the half year. So, I mean, when we close out June, we begin our procedures to do a review of the half year. So that would happen in August, according to the schedule that was set at the beginning of the year. But yes, that's one of the regular meetings is a half year update. But if you have a June meeting, perhaps I have
I'm going to segue
old
over to
schedule.
our clerk who has the actual factual dates.
Through the chair, our next scheduled meeting is June 23rd, and the next is August 4th, and I can send the updated calendar to you, Julie.
Thank you. I'll check that June 23rd date. I must have missed a change, but I do have August 4th. So August 4th would be the half year That would be the half-year meeting.
Okay. Member Seals, does that meet your expectations?
I mean, I guess it would have to, you said your Plant Moran, the Plant Moran information will not come in until May, you said? Is that what you said?
So, you know, we go by the service agreement and it outlines 3 meetings a year. So the spring meeting or the May meeting, there are specific things that we talk about in that meeting. That's the review of the prior year. So that's not to say at this June 23rd meeting, we can certainly give an update on programs, but the formal meeting for the half year always happens after the end of June. So that would be the August 4th. So that's when you'll get like a formal printed
Comprehensive.
report. So, but certainly at the June 23rd meeting, I can give you an update on how we're doing with service agreement activity. The formal report gets submitted at the half-year meeting, and that would be the August 4th. So
My biggest interest at that time is because school is out at that time, around June 23rd. And I was looking for more information about how many children had attended at that time.
I can bring
Yeah,
that.
that kind of information that
Yes.
should be already wrapped up at that time. Okay. Other than that, that's all I have.
Great, thank you. I can entertain a motion for that type of update at the June 23rd meeting to go on the agenda.
If you could, sir.
All right, can I get a second?
Sec-
All right, been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Then we'll look forward to adding that to the June 23rd meeting agenda. Any other items that need to be submitted before the board? Going once, going twice. All right. At this point, I would like to go to our clerk for public comment.
We have Commission Counsel Felicia Johnson with her hand raised via Zoom.
Good morning, everyone. This is again Felicia Johnson, Counsel to the Commission. This is probably as such other matters, just seeking clarification from the body. My understanding is that at a prior meeting, the body approved the auditor for your annual audit. However, I'm seeking clarification on who should take the lead on that contract. My office has done so the last few years. However, now that you have Attorney Perkins' office, I'm not sure if you want him to do that or you want my office to continue to do so. But if I can seek clarification on that, we can get that contract drafted and over to the auditor for signature.
Question to you, ma'am. What is the time frame that we need to have all of that worked out?
I believe the contract, and Octavia, you help me, I think it expires in August.
You're correct.
So if we were able to get things worked out by our next meeting, would that be sufficient?
Yes.
I'm
because the
looking at
current
the clerk.
The current contract expires August 31st. So as long as it's done by then, our
Done by
next
then.
meeting will be fine.
Okay. And then to our council, any thoughts about that?
We'd be more than happy to work that or draft that contract. We have prior contracts to work from. I'm sure those are acceptable. I mean, they worked in the past. And we'll work with the body. Not necessarily, I'm sure I can work with a member, a board member, not necessarily in a group session that we need an open meetings issue, and also with Director McFarland to bring that to fruition. Or we're here at your disposal. So if you wanted Attorney Johnson or myself, or if you wanted us to collaborate together, we're here to work for you, however you'd like that to be accomplished.
Okay. Could I ask you all to get together and work on that and then provide us with your advice for our June 23rd meeting?
Absolutely. Considering Attorney Johnson's work, if she's sending me a Word document, I'm probably just going to be changing dates. considering the work that has been done in the past. But absolutely, I'd be glad to work with her on that.
Okay.
Question, Vice
Yes.
Chair.
Mhm.
Would you want us to have a document before we present it to you, present it to the DIA to get input and get feedback from Director McFarland or her team, and then come to you with a finished product that everybody finds acceptable?
That would be my preference, but I'd like to also open the floor to my colleagues and get your feedback as well.
Just for clarification. So the contract we're referring to is the contract that the authority itself enters into for your audit purposes.
Mhm.
I don't know that
okay.
historically we've consulted with the DIA on that
Okay.
because I don't
Wrong.
think it involves their records. It involves your records through the treasurer's office with regards to tax collections and how you expend your portion of the funds before you send it to the DIA.
Wrong contact person.
Through the chair, which is conducted by Allen C. Young and Associates.
The Allen Young audit. Okay.
Right.
Got you. Okay. Excellent. So it sounds as though we've got to decide if we want you to do it or if we want commission
Council.
to do it. Okay. And
Or if you wanted us to do it together.
now you give me another one to think about.
Aye.
Okay. Is there preference? I think I want to say this. Since our council is new, if you were going to do it, I would think there would need to be some type of transition.
Correct.
So maybe that might be something that you and Commission Council might be able to work on jointly.
Correct.
Ms. Johnson, is that something that sounds feasible?
Yes.
Okay. So if you all are able to do that, do I need a motion for that? Nope. Okay. So if you all could work on that transition process and then come back to us June 23rd with an update or at least notification of where we are in the process, just so we can make sure we're prepared by the August meeting to approve our next audit contract.
May I?
Yes,
Vice Chair?
absolutely.
As I was listening, I was under the understanding that you wanted to be able to vote on that contract or approve that contract in the June meeting, to the extent that if there's any, to have a finished product that you could vote on and approve, and if there's any hiccups in that process, we would at least then have as a fallback the August
The
meeting.
August 4th.
Because it's August 31st is the deadline date. So just as a fallback, to do the 23rd as a set date to do this, and then if we have any need for another date, we have that date already in place.
And that is what you're advising us to do, yes?
I would, yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have a thought about that?
I agree.
Sounds good to me. So when we come back for the June 23rd meeting, we'll be able to take that item up.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Any other items that need to be properly submitted? And thank you, Council Johnson. Appreciate you chiming in. Okay, if we can go to item H, public comments.
Chair, there are no hands on Zoom and no emails were received.
All right, no hands on Zoom, no emails received. We want to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and take care of this very, very important information. Our next meeting is June 23rd at 10 a.m. We do sometimes struggle to have a bit of a quorum, so we will be sending out a reminder, and we'll ask everyone, please respond and let us know if you're able to participate. We will also at that meeting be welcoming our newest member, Mr. Byron Osborne. So we'll look forward to everyone coming next meeting. Thank you all so much and have a great day. This meeting is adjourned. Thanks.